Hey there friends, Nibs again, out in the garage, doing a little bit of goofing around tonight, a little bit of plinking. It's a pretty raw and rainy night out tonight. It's actually getting dark already, so wouldn't be outside shooting anyway. But inside doing a little bit of plinking, and I thought I would do, you guys had to know this was coming, a head-to-head challenge with my Beeman P17, which I just got a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to put that head-to-head up against the newest arrival in the garage, which is the Webley Nemesis, which is quite a nice shooting gun. The Beeman is, I think it's going to give that Webley a real run for its money, though. That Beeman is quite a nice shooting gun. So, and I am going to pull out all the stops, and we're going to go for broke. And we're going to use some of the best pellets I have on hand. So we're going to use these RWS R10 matches. I've shot a few of these through both of these guns, and they are both shooting them very consistently. So any variation down there is all on me. So let's go ahead. Stand by. I didn't start my camera downrange. Okay, so now we are ready. So I am going to start out with the Beeman. One thing, I made mention of this when I was doing the review on the Webley the other day. The Beeman, even though it's they're very closely related as far as how they're put together, the track up in here where you have to load the pellet in there is a lot skinnier, and the edge of that barrel face is actually squared off a lot more, so it's a lot harder to get that pellet to start down into the barrel on this Beeman than it is on the Webley. I'm not saying it's impossible or that one went right in. Sometimes they circle around that hole and just won't drop in there, and it's really difficult to get that started. I do have to say that this second one that I have now has been nothing but flawless. I don't know what was going on with that other one, that barrel seal, breech seal, whatever you want to call it, would not stay in that other one I had, so I sent it back. The seller sent me a new one, and this one's been great. So a little bit of extra oil coming up there on the piston here, but so we'll go ahead and close this guy down. This one now, this one has an automatic safety that you have to turn off every time. So that is the Webley does have a safety, but it doesn't set the safety every time you cock it, so you don't have to mess with that every time. But we'll go ahead and we'll shoot 5 shots with each one, and whichever one gets the best score gets the best score. I definitely paid a lot more for the Webley than I did for the Beeman, but if the Beeman wins, I won't be upset because this is a great shooting little gun. I won't be surprised if it. Same hole. And a 10. I more picked up that Webley because it's a collectible, but it is a great shooting gun too. So if I was just looking for a gun to be a fantastic shooter, not so much of a collectible, this Beeman is definitely the way to go. So if you low budget air gunners out there, I guess you could say, that don't have a spending problem like I do, and then you just want to get a gun that shoots fantastic and will be easy on the wallet, $50, $60 for one of these, and you'll be good to go. As you can see, it's going to be quite a challenge for the Webley already. Alright, that one stayed, oh, I think that one might be up in the 9. So I did run both of them across the chrono before I started the video up, just to check them. The Webley is still running right in the 360s. I sounded like it was doing a little bit better once I put a little bit of oil in it, but it's still very consistently right around 360. And the Beeman is still right around 400. So just a tiny bit more from the Beeman. But so that's the third shot in the same hole. The first 2 went in that same hole. So that's going to be a good score. So let me go ahead and pull out 5 pellets here for the Webley, and we'll go ahead and do the same thing with this. So now this one, like I was saying, you can see up here where the loading port is. There's just a lot more room to get your fingers in there and get the pellet in there. And it just goes in so much easier. And because this thing doesn't shoot quite as hard as that one, it's a lot easier to close too. No safety to turn on and off every time. I do like the fiber optic sights on the Beeman. A little easier on my eyes. But I did put my orange dot on the front of this one, so I can see that a lot better now. Alright, it's looking good. So for anybody who hasn't watched my videos for a long time, just about every gun I have, every pistol I have, I bought this bottle of orange nail polish from our dollar store, literally out of the dollar bin. I think it was closing out. I've had that for probably 5 or 6, 7 years now, and I've barely even brought the level down a quarter of an inch in the thing. And I've done every one of my powder burning pistols and every one of my, and I have a lot of pistols, but I've done every one of my powder burning pistols and every one of my air pistols. Just takes a little tiny dab, and that just makes it come to life when you're trying to focus on it downrange here. But let's go ahead and keep going. Webley's looking like he's wanting to take his first win today. I want to turn that. I'm so used to. I've shot a lot of that. I've shot a lot with that Beeman, and I'm so used to turning off the safety. Ooh, I think that one might be out in the 9. We'll have to review that footage, but we got a couple of red X's already from this Beeman, so it's going to be tough unless I really shank this one. I think the Beeman's going to take it. That kind of reminds me, my old John Deere riding tractor that I have for my lawnmower. The motor, I've fixed the motor a couple of times, and it's really just completely wore out now, but it needs a new head. I just put it outside beside the road, free, and I bought a new one. It's a Cub Cadet, and they're almost identical. They're both made by the same company. It's obvious. But this one has a little bit different. The John Deere, you had to push this little yellow button every time you wanted to go in reverse while you had the mower deck going, or else the engine would stall. This one, you actually turn the key a certain way and hit a button, and it just stays in the reverse lockout mode, so you don't have to keep pushing a button. When I mowed my lawn with it first time yesterday, I had that muscle memory. Every time I wanted to back up, I just kept reaching down, and there was no button there. So anyway, it's kind of like this when I want to turn that safety off. And all right, Pretty sure I don't have to add those up to determine a winner, but I am going to do it just because that's the way I roll with these head-to-head challenges, and I want to just show what we're doing here so we can refer back later and figure out, you know, which one's the grand poobah. So stand by. Alrighty, friends, I'm back. So just as I suspected, and it actually was very close, the Beeman had one that wasn't a 10. That one, I called it when right up there at the top. That one was a 9, but it shot a very respectable 49 out of 50 on this challenge. The Nemesis, though, was the hands down winner, and let me set that down. So this one at the bottom corner here, it did break. I reviewed the footage very closely, so it did break the line in the 10, and so I go by how we score our bullseye targets. If the bullet does crack the line, then it counts as a 10, or whatever the higher number is. So that one was the only one that was questionable, and that's why I wanted to review the footage, but it did crack that 10 line, so it does count. So I ended up with a perfect 50 with 3 X's. So this red dot would be our X ring in the center, and I ended up with 3 X's on that. So that is an amazing shooting gun. They both are. I'm sure I probably could have shot a 50 with the Beeman as well, but it just wasn't in the cards today. But the Webley Nemesis really pulled it out. So there you go. There is my head-to-head challenge with the Webley Nemesis and the Beeman P17. Very close race, but the Webley won, and we'll be seeing more of this guy for sure. So hope you liked the video. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. You'll be notified when I do post up new videos. Till next time, have a great day.